something over there to specialize in?
Yeah, I'm specializing in finance. Okay, shall we start? Most of the students are in. I think we can start. RK has come or not?
Yes.
RK has to be there. Yeah.
Present, sir. I'm
RK is there. Yes, yes. Good, good. Lecture cannot start. Okay. There may be some disturbance on the internet, and maybe once or twice I may get logged out also because there is severe means like thunderstorm and hailstorm in Bangalore right now. Because of that, my cable connection has gone. Fortunately, my internet connection is on. Electricity is also on the verge of going, but don't worry about electricity. I've got the backups there. Inverters are there. Only thing is that in the Wi-Fi should not go. If Wi-Fi is there, we are all there connected to each other. Okay. So today, what we are going to do is we are going to do a hell lot of concepts, important concepts, and these concepts are very important from exam point of view. Theory questions asked, practical questions sometimes based on what we have learned, along with theory questions are asked. So we have to be prepared for these concepts, very important concepts. So first what I'll do is I'll finish off this concept of benchmarking, and then I come to the concept of TQM, which is very, very, very important. Now, first of all, what is benchmarking? We have studied this as, when we were doing the first chapter, we said that these are all the techniques of strategic cost management, which we are having. So one of them was benchmarking. And we had just given a brief over that. Now we will do a little bit in detail as to what is benchmarking. Benchmarking is comparing, you can say, in other words, in simple words, you can say. It is comparing, okay, own performance, comparing own performance with the best in the market, with the best in the market. Let us say tomorrow you complete your CMA finals and you start teaching, and you start teaching the subject of strategic cost management. Okay? What will you do? We'll say, okay, this subject now, if it was taught by Prabodh sir, then how he would have been teaching. So I've become the benchmark for you. Correct, na? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now, when I become the benchmark for you, what does it mean? It means that I become the ideal person for you. And so you will see how this particular topic, if it is to be taught, how sir will teach, what examples he will give, how will he explain the concept. So you will be trying to measure yourself or compare yourself with the most or the best person available in the industry. So when that happens, we say that you are having a benchmark, that I am the benchmark for your teaching. Likewise, in the stock market, mutual funds are there. Stock market, individual portfolios you can build up. So what you can do is you can have what is called a stock index. Stock index is your benchmark, that is your Sensex and Nifty. So index funds are there. In mutual fund, we have learned index funds, or what we call as passive funds. That is the last topic of SFM. So those index funds or passive funds are basically what? They are mutual funds which are keeping the Sensex or the Nifty as a benchmark, as a measuring. So whatever happens to the benchmark, that means your ideal portfolio, the same thing will happen with your portfolio. If that benchmark portfolio, that is a Sensex or the Nifty, is giving 15% returns, then your portfolio also should give around 15% returns. So that means you are performing as per your benchmark, as per what you are comparing yourself to. So comparing your own performance with the best in the market, that is benchmarking. So for a business, for a company, benchmarking involves comparing different things, like comparing the workforce of my organization with the workforce in one of the best companies in the market. Comparing my products with one of the best, with one of the companies manufacturing the same product, which is a leader in the market. Comparing my services with one of the best services given in the market. That is benchmarking. So comparison of companies or business products or services against other companies which are the best in the market. That is benchmarking. Okay. Now, when we are doing benchmarking, we have got to know types of benchmarking. Types of benchmarking, what we have to know here, different types of concepts are here. First, I will take internal and external. Internal and external benchmarking. Benchmarking can be done internally also or externally also. Internally in the sense, within my organization, there are several departments. Okay, you have got the machine department, you have got the service department, you have got the production department, you have got marketing department. So there are different departments in my organization. So I compare the work done by one department with the work done by another department. And maybe to motivate the people or the employees working in the departments, I say that, you know, one of the best departments within my organization will be given a prize, will be given some prize. So everybody is working to become the best. Then one particular department gets a prize and I say that, okay, this is the best department. Now other departments in the organization will then look up to that particular department and say that if that is the best department, what we don't have, what that department has got. What we are not doing, what they are doing. So that comparison comes. So once a leader is there, once the best person is there, you start comparing with that person. You start comparing with that department. Why that department has got the best award? I will try to see and try to implement those same features within my department also. So comparison of departments within the organization. Comparison of, I may have teams of people working in my organization, different teams. So comparing team A with team B, that is called internal benchmarking. Okay, so internal benchmarking is within the organization. External benchmarking is when I compare my business with another business in the same industry, which is the top leader, the leader. So when that is done, I say that there is external benchmarking. Okay, now for example, a company comes and starts developing software. So it says that, okay, I want to keep Infosys as the benchmark. So whatever are the policies of the company of Infosys, whatever are the principles followed at Infosys, I will try to implement the same things here because I want my company to be as good as Infosys. So that is external benchmarking, comparing your company with one of the best in the organization. Okay, one of the leaders of the organization, or we call it as one of the ideals of the organization. When that happens, we say that it is an external benchmarking. Okay. Next, we have what is called as process benchmarking. Process benchmarking. What is process benchmarking? Whatever processes are followed in my organization, manufacturing process, or if it is a service organization, then the process of giving the service. I compare that with other processes which are there in other companies. And I find out why that company's process is better than my company. I keep that as an ideal. Okay. Now over here, I would like to mention I suppose you all have a little bit knowledge of Hindi, little bit. We have what is called as Mumbai Dabbawalas. Dabbawalas are tiffin carriers. In Mumbai, office-going people, they leave their house at early morning, sometimes 7:30, 8 o'clock. So by that time, lunch is not ready at home. So they have their breakfast and they run to the office. Then in the afternoons, from their family members, their wife or their mother, they prepare the food and a dabbawala comes to the house. Tiffin wala. Dabbawala means tiffin wala. He comes to the house, he collects all the food that we have prepared in the tiffin carrier. There's a tiffin carrier. And then they have got their own tiffin carrier boxes. They put it in the box, aluminum boxes are there, cylindrical boxes. They write a number on that. That is your house number. House number in the sense that each household is given a particular unique identification number. That represents, that number will represent your area, your floor, your flat, the place where you stay. So that is a unique number that they are having. They write that number on the dabba. And where it has to be delivered, you have to tell them that it has to be delivered to so-and-so office at so-and-so place. So even if a person is staying at Hyderabad and working at Secunderabad, dabba will be delivered to his office. And up till now, their record is that not a single day a dabba, a tiffin has gone to the wrong person. Not a single day. And in the evening, they get back that tiffin. Morning, they take that tiffin, that is around 10 o'clock, they take that tiffin. Evening, they get back that tiffin. So this service of taking the tiffin right up to the office where I am working and putting it on my table has been done by these people for the last so many years, more than 40-50 years. And not a single day there has been a mix-up that one person's dabba has gone to another person. Never has happened. Or that the tiffin carriers have not come back to the correct, appropriate house. Never it has happened. Never it has happened that the tiffins have reached late. That is also a record. And you know, this Mumbai Dabbawalas has become a case study at MBA institutes. That how do they do this? One person comes and collects that person, your dabba from your tiffin from the house. He takes it to the nearest railway station. At the railway station, they have got long, carriers. They put all your tiffins over there in that carrier. It is put in the goods department, the goods compartment of the railway. And then it is taken to that concerned station where your office is. Then it is unloaded again by a different group of people. And there are different groups of people. One person getting the tiffin from your house to the railway station. From the railway station to the next, from the railway station, there is another team of people. They will put it in that long wooden craters, and those craters are then put into the railway compartment. Okay, and few people are there in the railway compartment who will take care of all those things. They will look at the number, they will come to know where it has to be unloaded. Where it has to be unloaded. At the correct station, all those respective tiffins will be unloaded at different stations. From the unloaded station, there will be another group of people. They will look, they will see what is the number. Everything is done with that single number. They will take that to the exact office of that person who is working. And then return service also same way. From the office, there will be a person coming back to the railway station. From the railway station, they will again the empty tiffins. They will put it loaded into the wooden cart. That is loaded into the trains. That is again unloaded at the appropriate stations from the origin. That is the place of origin. From there, again that person carries it back to the house. Such an excellent system, and nobody of these people are educated. They are all uneducated people, illiterate people. But the service that they give has been faultless service throughout the entire years. Faultless service. No mix-up of tiffins, no delay in picking up, no delay in delivering. Whatever may be the conditions, Rains, no rain, summer heat, so much of heat is there in Mumbai. In spite of the summer heat, in spite of the monsoon rains, your service is on time. This is the speciality of the Mumbai Dabbawalas. Therefore, their entire system has been studied and it has been taken up as a case study for MBA students. Will you imagine that? IIM Ahmedabad has taken it as a case study as to how they are able to do that. And there are so many people involved. I told you, not one single person, so many people involved. And these people know exactly which office, which building, which floor, which table they have to put that tiffin box on. You will get it on your table. And believe me, nothing of the food will be missing. That is also there. Because sometimes what people do, they open the tiffin, they have the part of that, and then they taste it, and nothing like that happens. Nothing like that happens. It is a foolproof system which has been followed, where so many people are involved, and lakhs and lakhs of it is only not in thousands and hundreds. It is lakhs of tiffin carriers are there, lakhs of tiffin carriers, but each bear a unique individual number. Everything works on that system. That is a process. So if you are having a process of service, that is the benchmark that you have to ensure. So suppose I'm having a courier service, something similar to that, courier service, then I will also try to have the same type of quality maintained, where the pickup is on time, the delivery is on time. Suppose you ask for acknowledgement, that acknowledgement comes on time. So that is called as process benchmarking. Okay, third one. Third one is performance benchmarking. Performance benchmarking. What here we do is performance of every individual is ranked. Some points are given on some particular features. For example, a person may be evaluated on the basis of his coming on time, leaving on time, his efficiency, the time speed with which he completes a given work, the level of skill that is required for performing his work. So I may give points for each and every feature, and I measure the performance of that individual. This performance will be kept as a basis for comparing it with other person's performance, one who is the best in the entire company. Okay, so like that, comparison is done, so that I can also try to become one of the best. So even when I started teaching, initially when I started teaching, I had a lot of problems. Every teacher will have a lot of problems. In the first few lectures, communicating with students, because we start at a young age, no? At the age of 24, 25, we start teaching. So communication with the students, giving our knowledge to students, and at the same time, controlling the class. In my class, I used to have about 150, 200 students, 150 to 200 students, sometimes more than that also. There used to be batches of 250 students. It was like a massive hall. So problem of controlling all the students in the class. I used to have a tough time because I was a fresher. I did not know. So if I start teaching, then there may be some disturbance in the class. Then I go to control those students. When I go to control, I lose my teaching. So it used to happen like that. Then I started, looking at my seniors who have become the best in the industry, and I see how they perform, how they teach. And then on that basis, I started developing my teaching skills also. You are not supposed to copy. You are not supposed to, mimic another person. No. It is that you try to understand what he is doing that you are not doing. Performance. Person, I see that, that faculty enters the class, entire class is silent. I don't know why. So I try to find out, is he very strict in the class? Maybe. But during his entire lecture, not a single student disturbs the class. So what is the secret behind that? So when you get to learn these things, then your performance, that means you are keeping that person as a benchmark, that faculty as a benchmark. So in the company also, there may be an employee who's performing brilliantly. I will try to look at him and see what he's doing, how he's doing it, what methods he's following. And I will try to ensure that I implement those methods. I'm not going to mimic him or copy him, but I'll try to implement the same principles, the same qualities that he is putting into my work also. That is performance benchmark. Okay. Then we have what is called as strategic benchmark. Strategic benchmark. I find that a person is constantly winning. Whatever you give him, whatever competition is there, whatever test is there, whatever exam is there, he is constantly winning. It happens, when we are doing CA or CMA or something like this. We find that, hey, that student, sometimes what happens, PUC second year, a student gets a rank. He gets a rank. Comes out second in the board. Then when he comes for foundation, again he gets a rank. He comes in the first 10. Inter, again he gets a rank. Final, again he gets a rank. Now I will say, hey, he's not only clearing the exam in first attempt, but he's getting rank also. That means he's following some strategy, which is called as a winning strategy. Correct? So there is some strategy being followed by that person, where that strategy is being used by that person to win constantly, and to achieve the leadership. So I try to find out what is the strategy, what is the winning strategy of that particular person. That means strategy is becoming a benchmark. How the person has become successful, how he has been getting every time the first, you can say, how that person is always getting the rank in the examination. What is the reason behind that? What is the strategy that is applying? Okay, so is the audio clear now? I told you, there is some
Looks
problem.
like there is some kind of network disturbance.
Yeah, there is some network problem. Now it is clear. Now is it clear?
Now we are hearing clear, but sometimes it misses.
It's on and off.
In between,
It's on and off. Basically, sometimes it's okay and sometimes, yes.
Because I'm also getting the message that the network is unstable. So it is because of the monsoon. It is nothing that I can do. Yeah. Okay. So that is called as strategic benchmarking. Then we have what is called as global benchmarking. Global benchmarking. Now, global benchmarking means it is the same thing, but at an international level. When I have an international company, which I keep as the ideal or the benchmark company, which is what I would like to be, which position I would like to attain. So I keep that international company as the ideal company, and I try to find out what are the trade practices followed by that company, what are the processes of manufacture that are followed by that company, what are its policies, which global policies that it is implementing, how it is able to cater to different countries of different economic levels. So that is global benchmarking. So these are the basic types of benchmarking that you can discuss in the exam. So that is the concept of benchmarking. So in the examination, you may get some short question on the concept of benchmarking. So for that purpose, I have done this. But now I want to do something which is totally very, very important from the examination point of view and also from your lifetime point of view. That is called as TQM, or what is in short known as TQM, is the full form of Total Quality Management. What we are doing is Total Quality Management. Now, why this topic is important? This topic is there in CA also. This topic is there in CA also. But it is more important for CMA students. Why? Because it talks about quality. Okay. Now, many times what happens is that when topic is being explained, like for example, this concept is being explained to you, total quality management. Nobody explains to you the real concept. I'm telling you this from experience, because I have a lot of my colleagues who are teaching SCM, strategic cost management, and I discuss with them, how do you define strategic cost management? They tell me, how did I define to you strategic cost management? They don't explain in that detail. Likewise, total quality management, I asked them, what is total quality management? They say, management, total quality management means that you have to ensure that quality is there and you have to ensure that quality remains. So that is quality management. But that is wrong actually. That is wrong actually. Because there is a very, 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 very deep concept of PQM, which you as a costing student, a CMA student should know. That is why I'm taking now the pains, the efforts now to teach this concept in detail, and I want you to study it in that particular format only. Therefore, when I'm explaining, you just please write down your important notes. Whatever I'm writing here, you also copy it down, because nobody is going to explain to you this way. And I guarantee you that. Because I have seen people who are not giving importance to this particular subject, to this particular topic, to this particular concept. And they are taking it very lightly. Let us come to this total quality management. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to split up this total quality management into 3 words, into 3 different concepts. Total is a concept, quality is a concept, management is a concept. That is how I'm going to explain it. Because it is not one term. There are 3 different terms and there are 3 different concepts involved in that. So what do I mean by total? I'll first explain to you what do I mean by the word total. And you'll be surprised. I don't agree with this, Varun. It is not normal loss, it is abnormal loss. Normal loss is to be absorbed by the remaining good units. No, it will not be. Okay. So as I was saying, let us come back to the concept of total quality management. Total quality management, total, the word total means something that is different from what we normally understand. So I did not want to cancel this lecture because it's a very interesting thing. It's a very important point. Total means what? Total means from the point of view of organization. From the point of view of organization. It means entire organization. Entire organization. Forget the word total quality management. I'm focusing only on the word total. When I'm saying total, it means that I'm looking at the entire organization. Quality is something that has to be enforced and has to be in the mind and bloodstream of every person in the organization, right from the topmost person, that is the director of the company, right from the director of the company down to the last person working in the organization. And that last person working in the organization is a sweeper. Is a sweeper. Okay. So when I'm saying that we have to ensure that totality is there. Totality is there means what? Totality is there means that it is total, entire organization, right from the topmost person, that is the director of the company or the managing director of the company or the chairman of the company. From there up to the last worker working in the organization, otherwise it will not going to happen. What will happen is Board of directors, they frame a policy. Board of directors, they frame a policy. And it is to be implemented, where implementation, when it comes to, people will say, why we should implement? He has framed the policy, let him implement. I'm not concerned. I'm not a party to this. Like, for example, yesterday Rahul Gandhi made a statement that Maharashtra, I'm not involved. I'm not concerned about Maharashtra. But he is a party to that Maharashtra government. It is Shiv Sena plus NCP plus Congress. He is not giving outside support. There are 12 ministers of Congress in the Maharashtra government. He cannot say, he is now saying that I'm not responsible for what has happened in Maharashtra. I'm responsible only for Rajasthan. I'm responsible only for Punjab because there my government is there. But your government, you are a part of the government in Maharashtra also. Likewise, in a company, no employee can say that, I'm not a part of this decision-making process. Board of directors have decided, board of directors have planned, so let them implement, let them follow. I'm not going to follow. He can't do that. He can't do that. Because the concept is of totality. It is total. Means entire organization, every person, every employee in the organization, whatever is his position, whatever is his status, has to follow and has to implement. There is no exception. So entire organization. Second, when I say total, it means entire supply chain. Entire supply chain. What do I mean by supply chain? When I say supply chain, it means my supplier of raw materials, my transporter who is going to carry the raw materials from the supplier's place to my factory and its employees, my transporter who is going to transport my finished goods to my customer and my customer. That means supply chain is made up of supplier, okay, incoming transporter, in transporter I will say, in transporter. Then my business, my company. Then out transporter, transporting the goods out of my company, out transporter, and a customer. This is my supply chain. This is my supply chain. So total means what? Total supply chain. Everybody should be quality conscious. My supplier of raw materials should be quality conscious that if I don't supply quality raw materials, then my company is not going to manufacture good finished products. And if my company is not going to manufacture quality finished products, then I will not have customer, I will not have revenue, I will not have profit, I will stop production. So supplier goes out of business. So supplier should become conscious that until and unless I supply quality products, I will not survive. My customer will not survive. This company will not survive. So he has to be conscious in giving good quality raw materials. My in-transporter should be aware that until and unless I deliver my raw materials to my concerned company on time, they will not be able to produce. So he is conscious of quality as far as service is concerned. On-time delivery. Same way, my company is quality conscious about the products, final product that is going to be manufactured. Similarly, my outgoing transporter is quality conscious of the service that he provides by delivering the goods appropriately on time to my customer. So this is meant by total supply chain. The word total is very small, but it has to be interpreted this way. You have to understand this way. This is a concept of totality. You can say total quality management is management of quality. It is wrong. It is total quality management. This is the concept of totality. Nobody explains this concept of totality. They ignore the concept of totality. Third point, in totality. You know what it is? Something that you have already done. And that is called as product life cycle. We are concerned not with 1 year of the product. We are concerned with the entire life cycle of the product. right from the introduction stage, growth stage, maturity stage, and decline stage. Right from the inception of the production process, right from the inception of the product design. From that point till the point the product dies, that is a life cycle. I am concerned with totality, total life cycle of the product, not 1 year of the product, not 2 years of the product, but total life cycle of the product. So when I'm talking about totality, it means totality of the organization, means entire organization. Totality of the supply chain, that means entire supply chain and all the participants within the supply chain, right from supplier to final customer. And totality means not 1 year of the product or 2 years of the product. It means the entire life cycle of the product. That is quality. Sorry, that is totality. Okay. So I have explained to you the meaning of totality. Now let us see quality. What does quality mean? Quality, when I'm talking about, I'm not talking about good quality and bad quality, superior quality and inferior quality. I'm talking about what does the concept of quality mean to an organization, for a company, for a business. What is the meaning of quality? When I'm talking about quality here, the meaning of quality is that products or services should be as per specifications of customers or beyond the specifications of customers. Do you understand this? I'm not talking about good quality, bad quality, superior quality, inferior quality. That is not my concept of quality at all. That is not my concept of quality at all. A particular pen is a Parker pen. This is a good quality pen. Parker pen, it is costing minimum 200, 300 rupees in the market. But for me, where I'm writing solutions on a day-to-day basis, I don't consider whether I'm writing with a Parker pen or with an ordinary 10 rupees pen. You know, the pen that I use is a 10 rupee pen, 15 rupees pen, 20 rupees pen, not a Parker pen. But I want that when I write, my book should look neat and clean. That's it. That is my requirement. That is my requirement, basic requirement. Because when I write something in the book and I show it to you, how will you know whether it is written by a Parker pen or by a 20 rupee pen? Will you understand? No. There will be no understand. There will be no difference. Because my handwriting is so good. My handwriting is so good that it doesn't make a difference whether I write with a Parker pen or with a 20 rupee pen. So he says, sir, handwriting is good. But you will not be able to identify that whether it is a Parker pen that I've used or whether it is a 20 rupee ballpoint pen or a gel pen. So for me, what is quality? As a customer, my book should be neat and clean. Even if it is a gel pen, that gel pen should not leak. I should not sit with a piece of paper and rub my nib to that piece of paper every time when I'm writing. That is my only objective. So simple 20 rupees pen, ballpoint pen or a gel pen will be sufficient for me. That is my customer specification. So if you give me a pen which is writing good, I say it is a quality pen. So I write with the Reynolds pen. I write with the Reynolds pen. This is my pen. Reynolds simple 10 rupees or 20 rupees pen it is. I don't use a Parker pen. So pen which is writing properly without leakage anywhere is quality for me. Is quality for me. It is as per my specification. shoes which are there, which I'm wearing, it may not be Adidas and some branded item, but it should be comfortable when I'm walking. See, I'm taking lectures sometimes when face-to-face lectures are there. Sometimes I take lectures from morning 7 o'clock to evening 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So I'm standing for the most part of the day. So I require some shoes with some good padding. Whatever may the brand, I'm not concerned with the brand. Even if a local brand is giving me a good quality shoe which has got nice padding below, I'll accept it because for me that is quality. Quality for me is not buying Adidas. That is not quality for me. That is brand for me. What is quality for me? My legs should be taken care of. It should be supported. So I should have soft paddings. So irrespective of which manufacturer gives me that type of shoe, I say, "Arey, it is a quality shoe." So quality means what? Not superior and inferior quality. I'm not talking about that quality. Quality for an organization means what is satisfying the customer, what is the requirement of customer, what is the need of customer. Satisfying the need of customer is quality for the organization. So if the product or service is as per specification of customer, it is quality. Or beyond the specification of the customer, that means we are giving the customer more than what is expecting. More than what is expecting. That is quality. So quality, did you know this definition? Did you know this concept? No. Always we used to refer to quality as superior quality. This is superior quality. This is inferior quality. No, I'm not talking about that. Even if a product is a simple product, but it satisfies the need of the customer, makes the customer happy, it is a quality product. Understand that. From costing point of view, always lifetime concept that you have to remember. That is why this concept of total quality management is very important. Lifetime concept. What is quality? Quality means that it satisfies the need of the customer concern. Whatever the customer wants, if I give it to him and he's satisfied, he's happy, I have given him a quality product. So for me, for the business, quality means that my product or my service should be as per the specifications or beyond the specifications of the customer, beyond the expectation of the customer. Followed? That is quality. What does management mean? Again, this concept of management, we have done something somewhere. What does it involve?
Planning, organizing, staffing, control.
Planning, organizing, directing, isn't it? Staffing, all these things. Control. So planning, organizing, directing, staffing, control, all these things to produce a commodity or to render a service as per the requirements of the customer with the participation of the entire organization, the entire supply chain, and throughout the entire life cycle of the product is called as total quality management. Forget the definitions of total quality management. I'm telling you the concept of total quality management. The planning, organizing, directing, staffing, controlling of all the activities with the objective of producing a commodity or rendering a service as per the specification or beyond the specification of the customer with the participation of the entire organization, entire supply chain, and throughout the life cycle of the product. That is total quality management. This is definition not going to be taught to you by any person. They'll give you the bookish knowledge. This is actual concept. And if you find a person who teaches you total quality management in a better manner, you tell me. I'll stop teaching strategic cost management. Okay. So that is strategic cost management. Now I'll come to total quality management. Now I'm coming to, again, concept of quality. I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to take it further. So let us see. Quality management is what? I'm talking now about core concept of quality. Core concept of quality. First, it is customer oriented. Second, it reduces the cost, something that reduces the cost. And third, design and build. Design and build quality product. Design and build quality product. What is the meaning of this? Design and build quality product. I have to explain to you. Right? So now, when I'm talking about customer oriented, reduces the concept, design and build a quality product. Customer oriented, I told you, when I'm talking about quality, I'm not talking from the point of view of superior or inferior quality of the product. I'm talking from the point of view of customer. Whether we are able to satisfy the customer, keep the customer happy or not. So it is customer oriented. When will customer be happy? When the product is as per specification. Absolutely. And what is one of the specification? That it should be having a low price, affordable price. Correct. It should be having an affordable price. So that means for affordable price, I have to reduce the cost. But does it mean that for reducing the cost, I'll compromise the quality? No, he wants good quality also, a quality product. He doesn't want an inferior quality product. He wants some standard. Some standard. This quality product, when I'm talking about, there are three things that come into play here. Quality control. You studied in the same order. I'll tell you the reason. Quality control, quality assurance, and quality management. Quality control, quality assurance, quality management. In other words, QC, QA, QM. I told you now, we are going into the depth of this concept of quality. Quality control, quality assurance, quality management. I'm telling you, you have to study in the same order. Why? Because this concerns the past. This concerns the present. This concerns future. Past, present, future. Easy to remember. Past, present, future. Past, quality control. Present, quality assurance. Future, quality management. Okay. So now what do we understand? That quality control. Why do I say that it has something to do with the past? In quality control, what I do? After the products are manufactured, I sit down to evaluate the quality of the product. I find out whether it is defective, it is of poor quality. QC department, quality control department. Product is manufactured, then they sit down to analyze the product. and try to find out what is the defect in the product so that the defective units can be removed. So the objective of this is removal of defective units. This is how we define in costing. Quality control is something of the past. Why it is of the past? Because we are doing post-mortem of the product that has already been manufactured. Post-production. Quality control is post-production. The output is there, then we go for quality control. Whether it is of good quality, whether defectives are there, quality is maintained. So after the production is over, post-production, after production is over, with the objective of removing the defective items and ensuring that defective items are not sold to customers. Quality assurance. Something of the present. After finding out the defectives in the product, I would be interested in finding out what is the reason for the defect. What is the cause of the defect? What is a machine as a result of which the defective unit has come out? What is a machine? Which machine? What part of the machine is spoiled? Needs to be replaced. So what I'm doing? What am I doing? I'm putting the systems in order or in place. I'm maintaining that the system is good. I'm trying to ensure that system is good. So I'm trying to find out where are the defects in the system and put a proper effective system which will give me quality products. So it is something of the present. I'm identifying the machine process. I'm identifying that there may be a worker or an employee who is not given proper training in handling the machines, who is not given proper training in manufacturing the product. So I'll give him training, and in the meantime, I'll put a trained worker there. Remove this worker, give him skill and training, then place him back again. So it is something that I'm doing in the present to ensure that the quality is assured. The quality is assured. That is why assurance, quality assurance. Putting the system in proper place, putting the system in order, quality assurance. Okay. Quality management. I said something of the future. What of the future? Continuous improvement. Continuous improvement. So when I say quality management, it means that I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop once the system is put in order. That quality assurance is there. I've given assurance, but I have to ensure that quality improves over a period of time. Improvement, continuous improvement, Kaizen costing, continuous improvement. So when I'm looking at quality, I'm looking at three things: quality control, quality assurance, quality management. Quality control, something of the past. Quality assurance, something of the present. Quality management in future, continuous improvement. So that there is improvement in future also. I don't stop. Clear? So this is the core concept of quality. So we are going deeper and deeper into the concept of total quality management. And I'm going deeper and deeper into the concept of quality. Now let us look at something else. Again, pertaining to quality. What is that something else that is pertaining to quality? I call it as dimensions of quality. dimensions of quality. Okay. Let us see. What do I mean by dimensions of quality? Dimensions of quality means that quality means different things for different people. Quality means different things for different people. Quality means different things for different people. For one person, quality means performance. Performance of the product should be very good. Then I say it is a quality product. Irrespective of features, irrespective of size, irrespective of model, irrespective of brand. For me, quality means performance. You perform, you are a quality person. Now, professional exams, CA, CMA, CS, company secretary. It is very difficult to clear the exams. It is very difficult to clear the exams. So even if a student clears the exam in first attempt, I say, a quality student. Need not be a ranker. Need not be a ranker. You know, this is what I told when I left Bombay to come to Karnataka to give coaching to students of Karnataka. Students of Karnataka had called me. They said, sir, in our area, there is no faculty, good faculty for CA final. So please come. I told them I'll come with one condition. I am not expecting rankers, but I want that student should clear in first attempt. Even if it is just pass, clear the exam. First attempt, you are a great person. Because it's a national level exam. It is a difficult exam. Everybody knows that it is a difficult exam. So even if you pass with basic 40% marks, 50% marks, nobody is going to ask you. Once you become a professional, nobody is going to ask you. What was your percentage in final? Nobody is going to ask you. When you go to your doctor, do you ask him how many attempts he has taken to clear his MBBS exam? Or how much he got in the final MBBS paper? When you go for operation, the surgeon who is conducting the operation, do you ask him, sir, what was your percentage? How many attempts you took to clear your qualification? You don't ask him. He is a good quality surgeon. He is a successful surgeon. You go to him. Do you ask him percentage? Do you ask him how many attempts he has made? No. So for me, that is quality, performance. You clear in the first attempt, performance. So for me, different, I said, quality means different things for different people. So for some people, performance of the product is quality. For some people, features of the product. They are looking at certain features. Touch screen mobile. Normal mobile, we are not. It is not good quality. But if I have a smartphone, it is good quality. By that smartphone, you may not be able to hear also properly. But you can show that you keep it over here. You have got a status in the market. Smartphone. Sometimes people have smartphones not for the purpose of mobiles, not for the purpose of receiving and sending calls and talking to people, but social media, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, all these things are there, and some other features are also there. The features of the product. For example, a certain service provider is giving you free incoming and free outgoing. Sorry, very good feature. Service provider is good. Jio, when it started, Reliance Jio, when it started, it was a hit in the market. people, like mad, like they purchased the handsets of Reliance because they were promised data free, incoming free, outgoing free, everything free. Only deposit of 2,000. This is very good. Even in the rural areas, even the farmers, they purchase Reliance handset. Because the Jio service was given only on the Reliance handset. So they purchased the Reliance handset. Everything free. Incoming free. Outgoing free. Data free. But you have to have the tower so that your handset will catch the signal. But your towers are not installed by Reliance. They have yet to be installed. They are on borrowed. They are borrowing Vodafone facilities. They were borrowing Airtel facilities. Airtel towers. So their quality of service was poor. Features were there. So some people look at features of the product, they are not concerned with other things. Third, reliability. Product should be reliable. Whenever I want to use the product for that particular product's use, it should give me the service. Parker pen is there in my pocket. When I take the pen to sign a document, it does not sign properly. Because inside the Parker pen is a jotter refill. That refill should be good. Pen is Parker pen. Inside it is a jotter refill. So that jotter refill is not working. You have a Parker pen which is not writing. Image is spoiled. Because reliability is not there. It is not reliable. So reliability of the product. Sometimes you say, he is my very good friend. Why? Because he is reliable. Whenever you want him, whenever you have a need, he helps you out. He is a reliable person. You can depend upon him. So you say he is a very good friend. Reliability. So some people are looking at reliability as a feature of quality, as quality. So for them, quality means reliability. Fourth, response. I have a problem with my handset. I go to customer service. He says, it will take 10 days, sir. I say, what? 10 days? What will I do for 10 days? So the response is very poor. He is not interested in giving you after-sales service. He is not prompt. You ask him what is the problem, he will not tell you properly. Response is not given. Airlines if you go to. Airlines if you go to. Indian Airlines and other private airlines. Experience, this is my experience, which I've told my family members also. Once in my lifetime, I boarded an Air India aircraft. I never go by Air India. I never travel by Air India. Either I go by SpiceJet or Go Air or some other private airline, but never by Air India. One unfortunate trip of mine, I had a book. There was no other flight available at that particular point of time, so I had to go for Air India because I had to reach a particular place at a particular time. What happened? First, flight was delayed. Delayed by hours together. They did not inform also. Second, flight was evening 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock flight. Till 12 o'clock, there was no response. And we were in the airport. All the customers were there in the airport hungry, without food. So then when all of us went and complained and, literally fought with them, they took us to some hotel in that airport only where it was closing down and the leftovers were there. We were asked to help ourselves with the leftovers. Third, ultimately we got a flight at 1 o'clock in the night. I was feeling thirsty. So I pressed the button Air hostess came. Normally, when air hostess comes, very politely she asks, "Yes, sir. How can I help?" Air India air hostess came. "क्या है? क्या चाहिए?" is what she responded. I was so frightened with that tone. I said, "Nothing. Please go." So, a response that you get is quality for me. So when I call the air hostess comes and speaks to you politely. Soft tone, polite tone is quality. So response of the company when you are in problem, when you are in trouble, after sales service I'm talking about. If that is good, I say product is good. I'm not concerned with features, I'm not concerned with the other things. But when I am in a problem, my problem should be solved immediately. Or I should get a proper response, even if it is not solved immediately. I should get a proper response. Then I say it is a good quality. I say Air India is not good quality. Especially for domestic flights. Fifth, reputation, goodwill. The reputation or the goodwill of the company, the reputation or goodwill that the product generates for you, that is quality for me. Okay? Sixth point. That means sometimes buying a branded product will mean quality for me. So sometimes some people go for branded products, branded t-shirts, because that logo of that brand is there over here. So you can show people I'm wearing this particular brand t-shirt. Adidas logo will be there. Correct, no? So you are wearing something which is branded because you feel that that brand gives you the quality. So when people look at you wearing that particular brand of item or using that particular brand of item, you feel that other people will be appreciating me. So for you, that is quality. Reputation, goodwill. Next. Aesthetics. Aesthetics. Aesthetics means another word for that is grandeur. Decorative items, highly decorative items, posh items, which will attract people. You wear a sari with a gold border. Everybody will look, arey, sari with a gold border. Or a dress with a gold border. Or a golden pen. You keep over here. Golden pen. Golden specs. Aesthetics. Grandeur. The feel of the product. The beauty of the product. Attracts people. That for you is quality. So different people have got different things as quality. Seventh. Durability. Durability. Earlier, now when we are having these laptops and mobiles and all these things, the mobiles, every one of you also as a student, as a working student or a non-working student, you change your mobiles every 6 months. Why? Because it is not durable, it is broken, Chinese product, lasts for only 6 months. So your parents will say, "Arey, what type of product you are buying?" Because my parents are used to having durable products. So according to them, quality means durability, long lasting. Quality means durable, long lasting. A television set in a house, the olden television sets in the house, that big box was there. But that used to come for years. without any problem, durable product. Nowadays we are having the LCD TV. Frequent, breakdowns are there. Frequent problems arise. It goes for repairs every 2 or 3 months. So it is not durable. So I want something which is durable in nature, which will last long. And when a product is durable, then I say that it is a quality product for me. So durability means quality for me. So dimensions of quality. So I told you, what are the dimensions of quality? It is performance, features, reliability, response. Meaning what I'm trying to tell you is that different people have got different items or different characteristics for the concept of quality. Okay, this much is clear. Now, next thing that I want you to know is implementation of TQM. Implementation of TQM. I told you, TQM is a very important concept. How to implement this TQM? We have said we have now understood the concept of totality, quality, management, quality. We have done analysis on that. Everything is fine. Now I want to know implementation of TQM. For implementation of TQM, what all things are required? First thing that I require to do is customer groups. Customer groups means I will try to find out to whom am I selling the product. My product will be purchased by whom? Will my product be purchased by professional people? Or will my product be purchased by housewives? Or will my product be purchased by children? What is the age group of my customer? So customer groups, knowing your customer. To which category or type of customer you are selling the product, so that accordingly you can build the product. Accordingly you can understand what is the concept of quality for them. So only when you know what is the type of customer you are looking for, you will know what is the concept of quality as per that particular group of customer. So customer groups. Identification of customer groups. Second, customer expectations. Customer expectations. That particular group of customers to whom you are selling the product, what are they expecting? What is the requirement? What is the need? What will make them happy? So Reliance, Mukesh Ambani felt that that was a time when Vodafone used to charge very high prices. Airtel used to charge very high prices for incoming calls, for data. Only limited data was given free. Over and above that, cost was there. Mukesh Ambani thought that, what is the requirement of my customer? My customer is always cribbing about data. Free data, free data, free data. My customer is cribbing about incoming calls being charged. My customer is cribbing about the high rates of outgoing calls. Reduce, give them free. So customer expectations. Identifying the customer expectations. What to manufacture as per the specification of customer. That is quality. Producing a product or rendering a service as per the specifications of customer. So you have to know what are the customer specifications. What is he expecting from the product? Third, product utility. Product utility. Product utility means whether the product is performing as per the customer specifications or not. I have manufactured the product according to what I felt was the customer need. But after selling the product, I find that the customer is not satisfied because he was expecting something, he has got something else. Today I saw in the news, train started from Gujarat to go to Bihar, but reached Karnataka. Train started from Gujarat to go to Bihar, but reached Karnataka. Customer expectations. He was expecting to be in Bihar, but on the scheduled time he was in Karnataka. So you have, for the migrant labor, you have provided trains, but utility is not there. Instead of going to Bihar, he has come to Karnataka. So you have provided a service. You have manufactured a product, thinking that it will be useful for the customer, but customer is not satisfied because for him the utility is not there. What he was expecting is different from what he has got. That is product utility. And fourth is what we have done just now. Benchmarking. For this, we will require customer feedback. Okay. And we'll have to think upon what are the improvement opportunities. Improvement opportunities. So customer feedback and improvement opportunities. So all these points put together will give us the concept of total quality management. Total quality management. Now, there are certain more things that we have to study. What are the certain more things of TQM that we have to study? We have got what is called as the 6 C's of TQM. Very important question in the exam. The 6 C's of TQM. The first C is commitment. Commitment to quality by every person in the organization, totality, entire organization, every person in the organization will be committed to quality, will have this quality consciousness. Will know that from top to bottom, until and unless everybody is quality conscious and manufactures the product as per the requirements of quality, it will not be successful. So commitment to the organization, commitment to the objectives of quality, quality management, TQM. Second C is culture. Culture refers to attitudes of people in the organization, perceptions of people in the organization. Culture, attitude of people, perception of people. Example I can give you. Some people believe, for example, now if I'm called for a function as a chief guest, I believe that if I come late for the function, I will get more praise. If I come late for the function, people will say, Ari, he is very busy, but still he has come for the function. Even though he is late, he still come for the function. Great person. For him, that is culture. That is his attitude. That is his perception. That he believes that if he comes late for the function, he will be looked upon as a very busy person, a very, highly important person. Poor fellow, he has got a lot of work to do, but still he found out time to come for function. Purposely. Now, this is a habit in most of the cases in Bombay. I've seen this. People have this attitude, coming late. You call them at 3 o'clock, they'll come at 4:30. They'll come at 4:30. And then they don't apologize. Oh, I was so busy. I had this, I had that. They will give you a number of excuses to make you feel that, I'm important. I'm important. I've got a lot of work to do. That is attitude. That is perception. Some people have the attitude of coming on time. I believe this. For all my appointments, I'm there 5 minutes before the appointment. Why? Not because I want to create an image of myself that I'm, perfect. But I don't want to be kept waiting when I call somebody for my appointment. If I call a person at 4 o'clock, I don't want him to come at 5 o'clock. I want him to be there at 4 o'clock, maximum 4:10. Because I don't like waiting. I don't like waiting. So I don't like to keep other people waiting. That is my attitude. That is my perception. That is my culture. So how will that culture come? That culture will come with training for the employees in the organization. That will come with training. Some people in the organization, they look at the time. They may come late for the office. 10 o'clock time, they will come at 10:30. But when it is leaving time, 6 o'clock, they have to leave. Office hours are till 6 o'clock. They will look. When 5 o'clock starts, they will start looking. Arey, 1 more hour here. 5:30. Arey, half an hour more here. Right? 10 minutes more here. They will be literally looking at their watch every minute. And 6 o'clock sharp, they will close down everything and walk away. That is culture. That is attitude. But some people, they sit beyond 6 o'clock and they work till the work is completed and then they leave the office. That is their culture. So what type of culture you want to develop in your organization? That is one of the important features of TQ. Third, you have done this. Continuous improvement. Continuous improvement. Or here you have to remember a very important, you can call it as a slogan, or you can call it as a jumla, or you can call it as a statement. I say that TQM is a process. TQM is a process and not a program. Not a program. What is the meaning of this? Program is a one-time event. Dance program, musical program, singing contest, annual day function. It's a one-time program. It is not a process. Process means what? There should be continuity. Teaching is a process. Continuity is there. It is not a one-time program. I don't come and say, okay, I'll do strategic cost management in 1 day and complete it. No. It's a process. I'm teaching you all the concepts. It's a continuous process. So it is a process. TQM is a process. It is not a program. It is not a one-day event. You don't want to maintain quality for 1 day. You want to maintain quality for lifelong. It's a totality. Product life cycle. Remember. So I want to maintain the quality lifelong, not for 1 day, 1 year. It is a continuous process. It is a process, not a program. That is your third C. Fourth C is cooperation. Cooperation means what? Cooperation means participation of all the people, all the employees in the organization towards a common goal, towards a common objective of total quality management. And when I say that, it means utilization of all the skill and the talent of all my employees. Utilization of skill and talent of all my employees. How? There may be some senior people working in my organization, in my factory. Workers who are working in my factory for the last 20 years, 25 years. They are highly experienced people. They are highly skilled people. They have got an insight into the job. Working for 25 years, 25 years, they must have got insight into the job, how it can be done in a simplified manner. So I can go and take suggestions from them. I can ask them to cooperate. I can ask them to participate in the decision-making process. I can ask them to contribute towards the decision-making process. So this involves, cooperation involves application of total employee involvement. Total employee involvement. This is a very important question, 6 C's of TQM. Then, fifth one, customer focus. Customer focus. Quality means what? Product manufactured as per the desire of the customer. So customer focus, because customer is the main ultimate person who's going to buy my product. Now when I talk about customer, there are two types of customers: external customer and internal customer. External customer is the customer who's buying my final product, to whom I sell my final products. But there is also an internal customer. That internal customer is when I have product passing through department A, department B, department C, department D. Product is passing through 4 processes. Because department B is a customer of A. Because whatever is produced by A, that goes as input for B. Output of A is input of B. Output of B is input for C. So C is a customer of B. B is a customer of C. So these are all internal customers. Internal customers. So even internal customers should be happy. Internal customers should be satisfied with the department B, should be satisfied with the output of department A. Because if output of department A is not good, is defective, then output of department B will also be defective. He will not be satisfied. So internal customer also has to be satisfied. And the 6th C is control. You need to maintain this control over a period of time. For that, whatever procedures you have followed, whatever policies you have implemented, all these things have to be documented. So documentation of procedures followed, policies implemented, the best practices that you have implemented. So all this has to be documented. Proper documentation must be there. You have to write it down somewhere so that in the future also you can use it as a reference. Okay, so these are the 6 C's of TQM. That completes majority part of my TQM concept. So total quality management is a very, very important concept for CMA final costing, because costing people require it more than CA people. So that is why you have a separate chapter on this. Okay, so I have taken this chapter specifically because it has to be done in detail. We can't just run through it and do a pastime over this, that I just teach you from the where the necessities. So your chapter number 7, purely theoretical but a very important chapter, TQM and cost of quality. So today I have touched upon total quality management, TQM. Tomorrow I will be doing cost of quality and problems based on this. Cost of quality is another important concept, and we have got problems based on cost of quality. Okay, so with this, we'll stop you for today. Tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you very much for the
Thank you, sir.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Tell me, Anand.
Sir, in the last class, we have done that JIT fifth problem.
Last batch.
In that problem, I have small doubt, sir. Not problem. Can we do the problem as the total cost of plan 1 and the total cost of plan 2, and then we can compare this, which is better, we can adapt like this, sir?
Okay. You do one thing, you send me your difficulty on WhatsApp. I'll get back. Today only, now only. After the lecture.
Okay, sir. Thanks.